This is Tuesday the 24th of January 2012, and this here has a lot of stories to be told about it, because this is just below Urney Graveyard on the border between Donegal, which is across over that banking and across the river, and Tyrone here. Now this was a poacher's paradise many moons ago, and that there old farm belonged to a man called Freddie York, and he allowed everybody to park in there and to keep out of the way from the likes of the police and whatnot, because there was that much going on at the time, and you know, and he was a local man, drunk in a local bar, and met the local lads, and most of them which were salmon poachers, because that's the way they survived, and smugglers as well, because this here was a smuggling path as well as a poaching path, which I'm going to take you down now. And it's a mild day for the month of January, and I see a lot of snowdrops out here further on down the path. This used to be a laneway, and Freddie York used to have a fishery himself. He had a license, commercial. They used to fish with a commercial license down here, and they had a boat and all, and they were getting plenty of salmon, and it was the way of life years ago. Then the troubles obviously started, and there was a lot of changes and danger involved and along these walkways and pathways, and this here actually floods when there's a huge banker in the River Finn. There's not much activity here now, as times have changed, and people and young people they tend to live a better life, and thankfully too. And what the poachers used to do was they used to hide nets underneath the water down there, because no one would have suspected that, and even actually sometimes up the trees at the right time of the year. And that's Urney Graveyard and Urney Church, and that's the old graveyard. That's a mixed cemetery because it goes back hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And many's a man went in there with a pair of waders on them and stamped their nets right into the very bottom of that there swamp, so that they wouldn't be detected by bailiffs or anything. There was a man called Packy Harkin at the time. He was an inspector, and he would have lay out irrespective of what was going on around here. The man just had no fear, simply because he just wasn't, I'll say nothing, in case he gets back at me. And those bushes there along the line, perfect place for keeping a net. And of course that there runs right down underneath that banking to the River Finn itself. And there used to be, and there is further on down and up the river, sort of hatches that you can lift up and throw in either boats, nets, stuff like that, ropes, things that you do want, bags of stones. Now these trees have been here a long time, and see that old building there, that old Wallstead? That was what used to be a chocolate factory. Nestle's chocolate, Urney chocolates, but it was actually bought over by Nestle's. And a bit of history behind that also. But there's the great River Finn. Notorious for this corner here for poaching. There used to be one net on there, another net on there, another net at the corner, nor maybe one or two down at that bridge, and up at Jack's, possibly one or two. And every man sitting out with them at night, getting springers. Now that's how bad it was. There was that many fishing. tags, of course, have done away with that, and fish buyers are just not accepting fish without any tags. Even the fish buyers themselves have retired and they are no more. Just above that little drain there used to be a famous shot there, because it would have got anything out of the hole there, strike of tide. And across there at the very point, on the 3rd day of January, a long time ago, there was this man called Fitzharris, he's passed away now, like, you know, but he was a man of many trades and talents, but hooked a fish at that corner there, just down below this fence, these bushes, which weren't there because they were only sprouts at the time. And the fish got it on a spinner, went straight across, up on the banking, up at the far side there, and back down again. But he got it, I think it was roughly about 14 pound weight, but it was the 3rd of January. And there used to be trees in the middle of that bank and all the way up that side there, old trees, and they used to plank the nets right up in the very hollow of the trees. There used to be soldiers lying out here at night. You used to get the police in the morning up there. They were sleeping during the morning as we're going home from the river. Commercial boats used to be here also, and that's just where they used to take the boats out there with the tractor and the boxes and boxes of salmon. Freddy York, that's probably how he built his huge farm that he has up there. Well, he's dead now also, but that's how there's some history behind all that there, and the ropes pulled home there and nets taken off, and that all goes right down round the corner. That used to be a railway bridge down there. You can just see the stiles of it, or what's left of the bridge. That was the bridge coming from the north, going right and over into the south, and going right on up into the lakes of Killigard and Balmafay, and I think even Bundoran, way on up that direction, isn't it? And usually if there's a spring fish about and he comes up around that corner there, he would show just down the very point there, or between that and the bridge. Anyway, it's 10 o'clock on this fair January morning on the 24th day. And there used to be the patrol boats. They obviously come down here up and down, like, you know, high waters, maybe 2 days before and 2 days afterwards. That's the days that or the nights that you used to sort of have to set out, because you're more or less expecting the bailiffs to come at that time on the boat. There used to be many a confrontation at that corner there in the middle of the night. Boats and poachers been rumbled over the top of them fences and up to the road. That was just, my God. And there's a diver in the middle of the river there. You just see him there. And not only that there, but you had the likes of smugglers. I remember one night there was a lot of cows being brought in. Every time that a farmer would have brought his cows and cattle across to the far side of the Republic, they would have got some kind of levy. Either that or bringing them back here, or whatever the way it was. Anyway, they got money paid from the government. But so they used to bring them across legally. Then I think it was from there over to here. So they used to bring them across from there, the Republic, over to the north here, legally, get their money, whatever it is, their grant or whatever they get for the cattle. Then at night they used to bring them down along there, and they used to herd them around here, smugglers, and then the poachers would have worked along with them, like, you know, that yeah, for maybe 20 or 30 quid at that time, which was big money, and they would have sat there in the boat, went out a little bit, and the smugglers and the cattlemen, the ranchers, would have beat one bullock into the river, and they had trouble getting that in, but once they got it in, all the rest of them that were gathered around here just followed them straight on after it. It was like a stampede, and they all would have swam across to the far side. It had to be high water, because otherwise they would have got stuck in the bottom of the river. So a little bit of information for you and a little short film to keep you going. And fair play to the guys, I have to mention this here, that went to Stormont yesterday for the conservation of salmon out along our coast from nets. It's a dying trade. It has to go. This little country here is worth more than a few old bucks for salmon out on the coast when it can draw in so much tourism into Northern Ireland and along the lakes of Donegal there, which is finding the financial bite at the minute also. So we can all benefit and prosper from it. Just need good, sensible men. On the lakes of the road, reeds like that there, see that? You could just, what men used to do is just put a hole in it there. Say that's your net. And that was it, then following net. But it's good to see the flowers, the snowdrops out. The graveyard being another place for birding nets and fixing nets and hanging nets. And those trees were ideal places, spots for planking nets, as we're along there. The dead centre of Varney. With that old graveyard down there, it used to be, I see things dating back as far as 15th and 16th century. Beautiful area in the middle, in the springtime. Magnificent. And as I say, across there's the border. Donegal, the river divides the two countries. This is sterling, that is euro.